I'm absolutely delighted that joining me today is Louise Marwood, actress, comedian, writer, and now CEO of Sober and the City. Hello, how lovely to see
Hi.
you.
That sounds way more impressive than I am, all of that.
Oh, I don't think so. What a great name, Sober in the City. Perfect. Love
It's
it.
good, isn't
Love
it?
it.
I love it.
We'll
Yes.
we'll talk all about that in a bit. I'm dying to get onto all of that. But we can't do a chat with you without talking about all your amazing acting work. And is it fair to say that you're probably best known for Emmerdale for
Yes,
playing?
I'd,
Yeah,
yeah, I'd say
that's
so.
that's the thing, isn't it? How long were you in that role?
Nearly 4 years.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? Soaps. Oh my goodness.
Oh no, that's it. And you're
Hard
sort of,
work.
yeah. It is. It's kind of. Do you know? This is the thing I think people don't realize about soaps. I think a lot of actors should do a soap as soon as they leave drama school because you learn how to do things really quickly. I mean,
Yeah.
you're sort of doing 11 pages a day. You know,
Wow.
you're doing 8 scenes back to back sometimes, and you might be crying in all of them. I mean,
Yeah.
I used to have home farm days, which would mean that every single scene I was crying, and that was like a whole day. So you
Like,
learn how to cry on cue. You learn how
yeah.
to do multiple takes really really quickly, and you learn how to learning lines really, really quickly and getting to the heart of emotions.
Yeah, I can
It's
imagine. And you
incredibly
you were
efficient.
in Hollyoaks as well, is that right?
Yes, years
Yeah.
before, years before.
Okay.
Of course, these are like different lifetimes, I feel
Yeah, I
like.
know. Oh, well, did I read also Coronation Street? That would have been a long
Very
time ago.
briefly. I just
Yeah,
did
yeah.
an episode, yeah, very, very briefly.
Brilliant. I
Yeah.
mean, I remember reading that in the very old days, they used to literally film it all completely live.
Did they?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my gosh. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know
literally
how.
live.
Wow.
Literally, it was just put out live.
Oh my
I
gosh.
mean, can you
I
imagine?
don't know. I really can't. I really can't.
Um, so yeah, so fascinating career, and and tell me where the comedy bit comes in, because I'm not aware of your work as a comedian.
Yes,
Feel
well,
free to sing your own praises,
I was
just
in a sketch show called Comedy Bitch. I don't know if I can say that on here, but I
okay,
was.
yeah, of course you can, yeah, say whatever
Um,
you like.
and we had a fabulous run. We did at Edinburgh Festival. We sold out. In fact, we sold out our first ever show. We got like these amazing reviews. And it was kind of this Edinburgh experience that you're not really meant to have. You're meant to earn that. And we got that
Yeah,
straight away. So we sort of exploded and then imploded because of it, because we kind of had these high expectations. We didn't know what was going on really. And so the whole thing kind of disbanded before it should have really. And it was a shame because we were all friends from drama school. And actually, it became very highly pressured because we had a lot of agents after us. They were pitching us for TV shows. And it changed what it was, which
mm,
was a group of mates who were, brilliant actors, brilliant at comedy, in a room making each other laugh, and accidentally then taking stuff out on stage and making other people laugh, which was, how it started. And there
yeah.
was really brilliant and beautiful about that. And then the pressure of expectations of other people and where it might go kind of, destroyed it really, I suppose.
Right.
Um,
So are you doing any more comedy or indeed acting? Are you
I
still
haven't.
in
No,
that world?
I'm writing a script at the moment, and I'm using all of that. So I think it never leaves you when you learn how to. Although it's a shame because ChatGPT writes like a good writer. It does the rule of three. So everyone thinks you're using social, AI and everything, and you're like, no, no, I learned this. I spent years learning how to write.
Yeah.
Thanks.
God, yeah. Oh God.
Um,
I mean, I so hope that everything is not just going to go AI. It will
I don't think it will
just be
because there's a
awful.
real human. I mean, it just does. It's too earnest for a start.
Yeah, it totally is.
And it just doesn't. It doesn't capture the human experience, and it does. And I just think for that, I think people that use AI will take over the world and leave behind people that don't. But I think that fundamentally, you cannot put the human experience into a machine. It just doesn't understand
Yeah.
consciousness. Thank God.
Yeah. No, exactly that. So yeah, tell us a bit about your sort of background in terms of alcohol then and as you call it, the downfall.
It was
What what
downfall.
what
I put
went
that in the
on?
email, didn't I? I said you can ask me anything
You
about my
said you can ask me
downfall.
about the downfall. Oh, crikey.
I love that should be my memoirs, The Downfall. The downfall went on for a really long time because I was falling when I didn't even know I was falling.
Mm,
So I've always been somebody who drank a lot, and that's how I learned how to drink. It was the ladette culture when I learned how to drink, and I think that rite of passage stays with you.
mm.
And you just if you learn to drink like that, which is to get drunk as opposed to like sort of socially, it wasn't to expand myself, it was to escape. That's how I
Yeah,
learned to drink.
yeah.
And so I was always going for oblivion from the beginning. And
But
of
I
course,
guess it was also part of the culture within the work that you were doing,
using
was
the
it as
yeah,
well?
all of that stuff and being on the comedy circuit, just it all goes hand in hand. And I've got ADHD, and when I went to my first rehab, 90% of people that have ADHD, you know, there's so many factors. It's genetics, it's chemical, it's trauma related, it's life experience, it's all the things that go together. It's a melting pot of why you end up going, you know, the relationships you're in, the people you surround yourself with, and what you value in life. Like being
Mm,
badly behaved and outrageous, I thought was something to aspire to,
mm.
because I was around a lot of eccentric people who made it very attractive and very appealing. And actually, I'm very insecure. And I think I'm an extroverted introvert. That is a thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is actually. And on that
Yeah.
note, you'll be amazed how many people I come across who, when they once they quit alcohol, they realize that actually they actually are really quite introverted.
I
It's just that
am.
they spent all of that time
Yeah.
playing the role of the party girl or the
Yes.
party boy, but
It's an
actually they
alter
like
ego.
their own company.
Yeah, it's an alter ego for sure. And it's a
Mm,
mask that I wore. And there's a huge cost to, I guess, trying to be that. And then I guess the gap between who I am authentically and who I
mm,
presented as was what I
yeah,
filled with booze. And then what I filled with drugs. And then I didn't know then anything about this stuff. You know, I didn't know about the scripts that were running in me. I didn't know all the masks I was wearing. I didn't know that I was actually very insecure. And I didn't like being vulnerable. I thought being vulnerable was weak. I thought being shy was weak. And actually, the more insecure I am, the louder I get.
yeah.
So it looks like I'm confident and I'm not.
Mm,
So I did. I put a lot of booze in me to pull that off. And then the consequences was always, I could never stop. So there was never an off switch with me. There was always huge consequences, but I could manage them.
right,
And then I discovered cocaine, and then the cocaine and the alcohol together was just, it derailed me.
right.
Um, but what was so hard, I think, for me was when I went to my first rehab, it was very obvious to me that there was this kind of cocaine-sized hole in my where my life used to be, and I could give that up. I knew I had to give that up, but the alcohol was
Mm.
such a hard thing for me to wrap my head around, because actually I'd formed an identity around it. So I had an existential crisis, really, because fundamentally I didn't know who I was without it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
From a very
exactly
young
that.
age, I
Yeah,
used it.
it's the same for so many of us, isn't it? If you start drinking in your teens, you've
Yeah.
got literally zero emotional maturity because
No,
everything
I
in your
was,
life has been
yeah,
through the haze of booze, everything.
yeah, yeah. I was a
Yeah,
30, 40 something year old with the emotional intelligence of a 16, 17-year old.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I still am.
So what happened for you when hit rock bottom or whatever? I mean, did you have supportive people around you? Was it really difficult in terms of I guess you're acting at this point?
Yes,
Because
I
there's
mean,
so much
largely,
shame and guilt involved in all of this,
yeah,
isn't there?
yeah,
Even
there
though
is.
it's not our fault. Absolutely
Yes.
not our fault.
But it's
Um,
very difficult to, I think we make it very hard for people to love us because we behave badly.
mm,
And because we're acting out, because we're in agony, there's a lot of hiding and minimizing that happens because we don't want people to know where we are. We're also protecting a substance because we don't know we're protecting it. So
yeah,
when I was doing things that were incredibly alcoholic, I was sort of dressing it up as a freedom issue in my head.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
believed that story
yeah, yeah,
fundamentally. And that idea of denial being don't even know I am lying. I love that acronym because that was me. And I
yeah,
would do things. So
totally.
I look back on that, we're incredibly alcoholic, but I didn't know that. And I was defending this kind of identity that I thought I just had to keep practicing drinking to get it right. So I could tell everyone it would all been a terrible mistake and I could moderately drink actually. But of course I couldn't.
Yeah,
So I never got there. So this went on. And the longer it went on, the more I defended it. I became an incredible liar. I hid. I sort of fell through the cracks really of my friends and my family because I was never where I said I was
yeah.
hiding.
You can't trust yourself when you're drinking for
I,
sure.
I wasn't safe in my own company.
Yeah, yeah. Isn't it
And
sad, honestly, when we talk about
oh
these things, it's like, and you look back and you just think, you hear that expression, oh, she's not herself when she's drinking. No, she really isn't.
no,
You know,
no.
it's just incredible that it is, as
I
you say, that was
vacated the
harder because,
building and it
yeah,
took my soul, I think, in the end. And
yeah,
it must have been so hard to see someone diminish so much in front of your eyes.
yeah.
By the end of it, when I turned up to things, events with friends, people would burst into tears. That's how sad people were for me. And I
Oh,
knew that this was
wow.
happening. So I stopped going out. I started hiding and drinking on my own.
And was any of this stuff in the press? If it was, I missed it.
No, this was after. So I'd left Emmerdale. I'd been
Right.
to my
Okay.
first
So you
rehab.
managed to avoid that. I mean, imagine if you had that on top of everything else. I really
I
feel for
thought
those people.
working actually, man, I could keep things going and
Yeah.
keep that kind of public faith going. And when that stopped, that's when I unraveled
Right.
behind closed doors. And that's when I really, and then we had the lockdown, of course, and then I
Oh,
unraveled a
God.
lot more,
Right.
because you were unaccountable and you were
Yeah.
locked in. And I was locked in, me, myself, and I, with my addict brain. Thanks very
Yeah.
much. And a
And
delivery
and
worked
and I
my
think you'll
best.
find it's perfectly fine to have deliveries of alcohol the whole time. So the
Yes,
gyms
whenever
can
wants
be
to.
shut, but the alcohol shops can be open. All good.
Yes. Yeah. So you can hide in plain sight really easily as
Yeah.
an alcoholic,
Yeah.
and that's the problem, I think.
Yeah.
But you're very, very, very unwell. So you're very unwell and you're very, very, very alone. That's the
Yeah.
hardest thing about addiction because no matter, people don't understand where you're at. They try and meet you, they can't. There's no rule book how to handle us. People get it really wrong. And the things they say can be really hurtful. So you kind of end up going underground even more, I think.
Sure. Sure.
And
So what happened for you then when you finally were able to make the change?
I think it got to the point where I just lost so much. I just knew that it was really progressive and I was losing more and more. And I just had to, I think I was waiting for someone to save
To
me
save it, yeah.
for a really long time and they didn't come. And
Mm,
so eventually I had to sort of look at the man in the mirror and go, we're on our own here. We
yeah.
have to do this. I'd been to rehab. I'd been in AA for years. I've been doing everything. I had millions of sponsors. And I was just like, I have to somehow find a way of beating my tricky brain
Yeah.
because my brain is 2 steps ahead of me every turn and
Yeah.
it knows what to say and what to do in order to get me to drink. And I believe it every time. So I have to be ahead of it.
Yeah.
And that's when I started doing this work. And I basically put London down. I left London. I left everything that I knew was my life and I started doing the work that I now do in Sober in the City, which is just, rewiring my brain because I
Yeah.
just knew that if I didn't rewire my brain, I was going to outthink anything anyone else told me. I was a real contrarian and I
Mm.
protected my substance above everything.
Yeah, it's quite a thing, isn't it? When people first, I've had this with sort of clients that I've worked with, and when people first come to the realization that, you know, you are not your thoughts,
Yes.
you can take back control. I mean, for years,
Yeah.
even though I'd done so much, work in inverted commas, I was a Hay House author. I'd worked with every self-help guru there is,
Yeah.
every spiritual thing. I'd done so much work around personal development, and yet I still had this voice in my head, as it seemed, that would say, "Oh, go and have another glass, even though you've
Yeah.
had three already."
This time will be
And
different.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
genuinely thought that
Yeah.
it was me, but
I
it
think
wasn't me. It was another
I
thought that I was
yes.
later able to speak back to and
Yeah.
say, "Well, thank you so much for trying to get me to do what I've always done. You know what? I'm not doing that now."
It's really hard to be the person behind the thoughts and they say that metacognition is the highest form of intelligence
Yeah.
because to be
To
objective in the
be
moment
yeah, exactly. To be able
is
to
the
be the
hardest
observer.
thing to
Yeah,
go. I don't, not only do I not have to follow this thought through, not only do I have to wrestle with this thought, I don't even have to think it in the first place. And
exactly.
to be able to go through that process it's exhausting.
Yeah.
And the problem with early recovery is you're conditioned by so many things. So you're fighting that. You're really low in dopamine because of all the chemical.
Yeah,
So you're
exactly.
really imbalanced anyway.
Yeah.
You're wired up to the max with everything that your brain wants to shortcut to the pleasure centers and the dopamine. So it's telling you things that aren't true. And then you're having to do this cognitive work around that all at the same time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's really, really hard.
And navigate relationships and social
And,
situations and all the shit that everyone
and
else
then
says.
everything you haven't dealt with since you were a
Yeah.
child, all the scripts that are running
Yeah. Comes
around you,
back. Yeah. Yeah.
just
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
of it at the
Yeah.
same time.
Yeah.
Which is why I think it's the hardest thing to go. And I don't think people give it enough credit for how hard it is.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you want the world to stop while you do all this work, but it doesn't. It
Yeah. So
happens
that's a
in real
really
time.
good way of describing it. So when you came upon the idea of sober in the city, what were the thoughts behind that then? Why in the city?
Well, it was really because it was recovery in real time because it was the thing that I needed when I came out my first rehab that wasn't there, which I had AA on offer and it didn't resonate with me. And I'm not saying it doesn't work because I know a lot of people that it worked for and still works for, but it's what works for you and it's very personal. And if it doesn't work for you, there isn't an awful lot out there that you can do in recovery in real time. And what I wanted to do was create a community that did the work that I did in order to get better be able to give it to people and to take them through it in real time and go, look, these are all the things I pulled from this, I pulled from this, I pulled from many different things to get better. There was an awareness pillar one that I went through, which is knowing exactly what my brain is doing. There was a conflict stage I had to go through, and then there's kind of an awakening. And I took people through that whole process. And it started working. I was going, this is actually working. This is it. I knew it would because I felt like I had the trickiest brain. I was like, if I can beat my brain, if I can recover, anyone can. And that was kind of like my philosophy, but I really didn't know if it was going to work. And then I was getting this amazing feedback and seeing people get better. And it's grown from there because it's just such a wonderful thing to be able to go those 7 to 10 years really of me being, in no man's land, it felt like, aren't
Yeah.
wasted because I've used it and am using it to help other people,
Yeah,
as
I
opposed to
totally
just
get that. I mean, that's exactly how I
yeah,
feel. And you know, one of the things that I always remember when I was in my first year of sobriety, I remember thinking, oh, I wonder if everything will go flat after this, like a bit flat, because I've done all the first, you know, I've done the first Christmas and holiday and whatever. But actually, you just find it gets better every single year.
yeah.
Every single year it gets
I
more
I
exciting.
I am aware now of a thing called elevated joy, and when you
Yeah,
realize that actually every drink you take, every chemical you take that creates a chemical enhanced joy, you're robbing yourself of the ability to have natural joy
yeah,
and to see the beauty in things that you did, as a child. You didn't have to put alcohol on every sunset, on every sunrise, on every occasion, on every kind of woo moment in your life. You were able to just enjoy it. And the problem with having to put substances on everything is you rob yourself of that naturally. And I think over time it comes back and it's wonderful.
yeah,
The
totally.
things that you just took no pleasure in at all become pleasurable.
Yeah,
Um,
totally. And it is. I mean, this is why it's so amazing when you know being around people who are sober because I just think they're so much more well, authentic really is the word,
that's
isn't
it.
it? But
What we
also
have to
kind.
do.
You become much more kind,
Yes,
I think.
kind of have to be, because otherwise
Yeah.
you're just an asshole without booze.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't want to be an asshole without booze. I was an asshole enough on it.
Yeah.
So you have
Yeah.
to do this. I think everyone in recovery has done so much work on themselves because they have to, because
Yeah.
otherwise you're just in agony in the world without your
Totally.
solution.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like, no, I need to be able to function in the world at a level of happiness and joy most of the
Totally.
time. You know,
And where do you think with this work, where does your, you know, your own particular creativity and humor, where does that come in?
I think in the way that I teach people and bring them through it, because I'm very honest about things and I bring a lot of my experience to things, because I think you have to be able to laugh at it for
Mm,
one. I have to be able to go, look, these are the things that where my brain took me, so people realize they're not alone.
yeah.
I don't hold back. I tell people pretty much everything. I'm probably an oversharer, but that's fine. I think a lot of people in recovery are, and it's because I needed that. I thought for years I was being deprived and something was being taken away from me. So
Mm.
I wanted to bring recovery in with as much joy and as much humor as I could muster to make you realize actually it's way more rock and roll to be able to manage your feelings,
Totally.
laugh
It
and
really
text.
is, isn't it? I know that's such an interesting thing. You know, one of the things sometimes we talk about with the sober coaches I work with is this whole idea of kind of personality types, if you like, and the fact that some people are just their natural sort of tendency is to be rebellious and they like to think of
Yes,
themselves as a rebel. And in the past, that was always linked in our head to, well, if I'm a rebel, I must always, you know, have a cigarette or some cocaine or
yes,
some
yes,
alcohol because that's what rebels do.
yeah,
Excuse me, actually,
yeah,
we're the rebels. It's
yes.
rebellious to go
Any
against the
kind
curve,
of
isn't it?
dum-dum can take a drug to
Yeah,
change their state.
exactly.
And it's like to be able to sit in a really awkward situation and
Yeah,
be okay and reset your own nervous system in the
yeah,
moment is really
yeah.
cool.
It's
And
really cool.
actually means you're winning at life because you just have this huge advantage, this
Yeah.
huge power of being okay in the world.
Yeah. It really
Make
is like a
your own skin.
superpower, isn't it?
Yes, I
I
really
love it. When you decided you were going to build this app, then, I mean, building a tech product is a very different skill, isn't it, to acting
well,
or
do you know, I
being a
love it. I'm
comedian?
having the time of my life because AI is incredible. And like I said to you before, like I think the world will be taken over by people who can use it because
Mm,
it will never replace us. However, what it does is the ability, it's like, and the way I describe I've got ADHD, right? So I have a brain full of ideas and I cannot put them anywhere. I
yeah.
don't know how to get them out of me. It's a bit like the crane fly daddy long legs analysis with the poison. I can't get it out of me, right? So it's useless.
Yeah.
And AI unlocks that because I can throw everything at it and
Yeah.
it
And it
does
puts it
all
in an
the
order.
logical
Yeah. Yeah.
stuff that I can't do.
Amazing. That's
So I've just
brilliant.
basically spent the last month putting my brain into this AI, just going like, this is this, and I've had these huge notebooks, just putting everything in, everything I've done with Sober in the City, putting all my recordings in, my voice, my videos on Instagram, so that it's got sounds like me, and building this app from the ground up, which has been the most incredible process. Actually, I never thought I'd like to do anything like that. I love it. So I've really surprised
Amazing.
myself, and it's been so fun because I wanted people to have access to it in their pocket. I wanted people to have sponsor in my pocket, which is what it's called, because I know that community, the idea of going to Zooms isn't for everyone. That can be quite
Mm,
intimidating. People can't commit to that, all the time on the regular. People can't afford one-to-one coaching, and they need to have something instantly that learns their brain so that the machine is learning you as you're going through and being triggered. And as you're putting your cravings in, it can say back to you, remember you said this 3 weeks ago. Because if
mm.
something had done that back to me and I realized my patterns, I would have got there a lot quicker. but I give
Yeah, yeah,
brand new information every time.
yeah.
So we minimize, and the brain will throw out the truth for familiar every single time.
Oh, of course it will. Yeah, it likes to keep us doing what we've always done.
Exactly,
Yeah,
the shortcut to dopamine, please. And it's like, well, remember the quick way, and it remembers the alcohol, remembers the cocaine, and it'll create a narrative around that to get you there. And
yeah,
that's the bit that needs unpicking.
yeah,
Once you got through the chemical side of it all, it's all the narratives that you've built up around the conditioning that get you there. And none of ours are the same, because none of us have the same belief systems. None of us have the same childhoods. None of us have the same scripts that we've inherited or inside of us. So you put all of that into the machine, and it learns your addict brain so that you, as you go along, can be 2 steps ahead of it, which is what I needed.
yeah.
So I'm hoping
Fantastic.
this,
So you've
yeah, that's what,
created the thing that you needed back then,
yes,
really.
yeah,
Yeah, brilliant.
yeah. Would
So
have
give us
saved
the
me a
website, Louise,
decade.
and tell us how we access it.
So it's going to be released as a beta product. I'm learning all these terms. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
From the 20th of April. But you can go in through my social media and get on the waiting list. So just message me on my Instagram, and I'll pop you on the waiting list, and then you'll be part of that.
Okay. And
As
just
it's
remind us of your Instagram.
Miss_Marwood.
Great. Brilliant. We'll put that in the show notes as well. It's so
Amazing.
great to chat to you. We'll have to do something
Oh,
together. Come and do a podcast with
oh,
me
I love it.
live. That'd be
There's
fun.
so many powerful women in recovery,
I
really,
know. I
just
know.
like holding the torch for this stuff. And I'm all over it. I'm into it.
Yeah, it is. It is brilliant, and it's so lovely to see you so happy. You know, you talk about how you were and everything, and oh my
If you
God,
had
it could have gone
seen
a
me,
different way, couldn't it?
oh my
Really,
God,
so
7 years
sad.
ago, I was like a walking apology. I was riddled with shame. I used to walk with my head down, and I was so grey. I was
Oh
so
wow.
sad. And my energy, I've got my soul back.
Yeah. Oh
I
God,
didn't
yeah, I
know.
love that. I
No one
know.
told me when I picked up a drink at the age of 16 that I was what the consequences of that were and
No,
where it was going to
exactly. Well, because you know, it's legal and everyone does it.
Yeah.
And practically, you know, practically expected of you, isn't it? So
Oh, yeah,
you
yeah.
know, God, and when you really think of the heart, I mean, you know, it's a topic for another time, but
It is because we've
sometimes
been,
when I do get on my high horse, which isn't very
yes,
often, when
yes,
there's every
yeah.
now and then when I do kind of step on it, I actually get really cross. I just get
I
really
get
fed
really
up that,
angry.
you know, there's no point in trying to go for prohibition. That's not going to happen. But let's,
No.
for God's sake, make it
You know
as
what makes me
normal to
angry?
not
And
drink.
I tell people in my community to watch out for when you're just watching like a streaming service, Netflix, Apple, whatever, the amount,
Oh, the amount of alcohol. Oh,
the
God.
amount of alcohol, but the narrative behind it that if you're an adult and a professional, you drink.
Yeah.
And it's only the ones that are struggling that struggle.
Yeah.
And everyone else, there's zero consequence.
100%. I know one, well, particularly in your world, that's what drives me bonkers
Yeah.
about in your previous world.
Yeah.
If you cannot watch, you know, EastEnders, you can't watch any of these shows without everything being centered around a bar.
Yeah.
And then every now and then they'll throw in a character who's totally at rock bottom.
Yeah, but
And
it's
so
their
someone like
fault.
me,
It's
oh, it's
their
their
fault.
fault. And
Yeah,
also
yeah,
someone like
yeah.
me who was never at rock bottom, but I was
Yeah.
still drinking every goddamn day, would
Yeah.
look at that and go, oh, thank God I'm not that bad. I'll just
Yeah.
carry on drinking.
Yeah,
Where they
exactly.
never
It's
have
not
any characters who
relatable.
just choose not to drink
Yeah.
because they've realized life is so much better without, you know. How about having those characters?
Yeah, no, it doesn't exist. And I
That's
think
not going to happen, is it?
no, this societal conditioning has to stop because it's really we don't even realize it's there until you
I
see
know.
when you
Until you
see it. I
see
say
it.
to everyone, go in a scribble a card shop, get really, really angry.
Yeah, totally.
Because it's all there. And actually the joy of being sober, I know you've had Catherine Gray on it, the joy
Yeah.
of it, the wonderful joy of it. You realize there's nothing deprived about giving it up.
Nothing,
There's
nothing,
nothing, you're not giving
nothing
up
to give
anything.
up. I know, amazing. Oh, it's so great to chat to you,
You're
and
welcome.
very exciting all the work that you're doing. And yeah, we'll have you on again. We'll come. We'll do something
Yes,
live maybe, and I'll
yes.
pop all that in the show notes. Great to see you. Thank you
Lovely,
so much.
wonderful.